Jonathan with Iron Mind Hypnosis. I recently got a message from a relatively new mom, and that got me thinking about some of the things I've read, heard, and know about motherhood and about raising children. And in many ways, I am very far from any kind of expert on this topic, either of those topics at all. That said, the comment message I got reminded me that a lot of mothers are overwhelmed. And yes, that's no great cultural secret that mothers are overwhelmed. And likewise, not every mother is convinced that she's got it figured out. And in fact, that's probably appropriate. Studies show that the amount of learning and relearning that a new parent has to go through with their first child is very similar to the education that a university student is going through for their 4-year degree. It's that kind of mental strain and learning. Typically, in the case of a parent, it's more hands-on practical learning rather than book. But honestly, most parents are engaging a little bit with reading, a little bit with trying to learn from some other source. But it's a learning process, and I am under the impression that most parents of multiple children have found that their children tend to be different. And so it's not that one child, there's one set of instructions that is likely to work for every child ever conceived. That seems unlikely. And it's okay for a mother to just realize that this is important work, and it is far from solved. It is far from a solved thing where there is a system that works that everybody accepts. That's not how it is. Even for those who believe that there's a system that works and is reliable, there are other people who look at that same system and are not impressed. And quite frankly, people have been successfully mothering for as long as the human species has been around. And sure, there's success and there's success. But if you're here to mother, there's a whole chain of mothering that has to have happened before. Now, it's very likely that you have opinions about the mothering that got you here. And some of those might not be the sort that you would necessarily want to share with your mother. And that's okay. They got you here. And if you're still interested in continuing to be the best mother that you can figure out how to be, then odds are the kid's still going to be alive for you to repair any damage you've done. Obviously, you don't want to be causing damage you know how to prevent, but it's a learning process. By very definition of learning process, you can't know it all from the beginning. It wouldn't be learning if you already knew the right answer. Our educational system seems to distort what learning really means by expecting people to know the answer at the outset. But that's not what real learning is like. Real learning is an awful lot of not getting the right answer or not getting the optimal answer, the best answer. And just keep going. Just keep doing the best, trying to find ways to do it better. Real learning is oftentimes frustrating. Sure, it can be a lot of fun, and it absolutely can be. And it can be very rewarding, especially very rewarding when you finally get it figured out. A big step forward in some aspect of that learning. The children are a learning process, both them trying to learn and the people that care about them trying to learn. So if you don't know it all, that's fine. Even those people who do know it all, well, there's always somebody with a totally different know-it-all who would disagree. It's not that we've solved this parenthood thing. Maybe someday we will have the art of parenthood, the science of parenthood, so well advanced that getting it wrong in any meaningful way just doesn't happen. Maybe. Seems unlikely. Certainly doesn't seem like it's likely to be soon. So here's to screwing up. Time and time again. Being frustrated, being overwhelmed. Learning and relearning. Because that's exactly what the kiddo is going to have to go through too. Learning and relearning. Just to have a functional vocabulary by the time a child is fully grown, they have to learn, I think it's something like a couple of dozen words a day. Every day. Not just once they get to school. So, yeah. Now, perhaps it's a benefit, and I don't know if it's safe and appropriate, but if it is safe and appropriate, if things are in a safe enough place, the kiddo isn't going to get out of control. Maybe been put down safely. Maybe somebody else is being kind enough to watch and protect for a minute. But if it is safe and appropriate, take a deep breath. Close your eyes and exhale, allowing the tension to melt out of your body. You can notice the surface beneath you helps to support you, keep you safe. My voice will go with you wherever you go. And the sounds around you can help you to focus on this experience wholeheartedly. In every breath. aids that tension and melting out of your body, being replaced by peace, comfort, and relaxation. Every breath. That's right. Just continue to let that tension melt out of your body. And it can start melting from the head or from wherever else it melts away most easily. You might notice the relaxation growing strongest or deepest in one area or another. And it doesn't matter where you notice it first. Just notice, appreciate. It might stay just the same, or you might discover it growing in size, significance, shape, or some other quality. Every breath helps you to focus and become more relaxed, peacefully. Learning to focus on your breathing. And it's true that some things come instinctually, like breathing, like the strong beat of your heart, like tears when frustration is too much, and tears of joy as well. And just like breathing comes naturally, you don't typically wonder, where do kitty cats go to learn to breathe the way they do? Where do salespeople go to breathe that way? You might know that singers may actually be coached on how to breathe. Likewise, athletes are likely to have paid some mind to exactly how they do a perfectly natural process. Natural process. There are so many. Breathing and eating, drinking. And sometimes it's possible to hear friends joking about choking on their own saliva, failing to drink properly. And it's true, this can actually be a very serious concern. Sometimes people do die from drinking incorrectly or swallowing their food wrong. It's a very serious matter. Yet most of the time, it turns out okay. Perhaps tears of exhaustion, a little bit of fear, and maybe some embarrassment. In the end, just fine, feeling good and recovering to full strength in just seconds. That's right. And it can be good for a good laugh. When telling a friend how you almost died because you forgot how to swallow. It's all good in the end, and you're safe. It's so many things are natural processes. Eating, sleeping, breathing, swallowing, smiling, and mothering. And mothering has a very long history, and it's true that not every animal is very good at mothering, takes that very seriously at all. Yet some animals are very good, have a reputation for naturally taking care of their young. Marsupials have a reputation like kangaroos for keeping their young with them for a long time in a pouch, conveniently nearby to keep safe and let grow. And some fish will actually protect their baby fish by sucking them into their mouth, protecting them with the whole bulk of the adult body. Some animals lay eggs, and some animals guard their eggs. And some animals invest very heavily in their offspring. typically not creating very many at any given time, watching over them for years. And those types of animals often have a history of doing just that. Perhaps going back to apes and monkeys in the treetops, baby monkey crawling around, hanging on mom, frustrating mom's adventures all the time. As mommy monkey tries to keep everyone fed and groomed and taken care of. I imagine it was probably hard enough to start with, without an extra mouth to feed. It crawls all over in every way, always needing something. Yet somehow, despite the extra difficulty, monkey after monkey after monkey grows to an adult monkey and chooses to do the natural thing and also become a mommy monkey. And I'm sure it's not easy. Certainly not at first. And the paleontologists, the researchers who study the history of deep time can use powerful genetic tools to find the history of any creature back through its maternal line. There's the contribution from both parents, of course, but the powerhouse of every cell is the contribution of the mother, the ribosome. And sure, they split and multiply so that every cell in the baby's body has the energy it needs to learn and to grow. And sure, that learning and growing, just like every connection, bond, is that both ends of that bond have to learn and grow. Some people say that change is hard, that learning and growing is difficult. And sure, sometimes children cry. Babies often cry a lot. Sometimes it can be difficult to figure out why is it this time. And yet, despite all the tears, some babies do their learning with smiles all the time. Sure, they discover misfortune, bumps and scrapes and bruises, and things that just don't work. But whenever they're not crying, they're beaming bright smiles. And it's true that not every baby is temperamentally smiley. But everyone smiles sometime once they've reached that level of development. And it's true. That any learning process, to actually be a learning process, requires imperfections, things that are not perfect yet. Some people might call them wrong. Some people might express even more strong opinions. And it's fine for people to have opinions. Very few people don't have opinions. Some people are even generous enough to share their opinions. Not every opinion that's shared is of any real value. It's possible to hear an opinion and think, what an interesting idea they have. How interesting their concept of me. I wonder where else in their life that idea is making their life difficult, thanks to their preconceived notions and opinions. And it's possible that as you engage in the learning process, that you find yourself frustrated, This is so difficult sometimes. And it's only natural. And something's important to try to find a better way, something more reliable, something more effective, something more efficient. And very rarely are all three of those types of better the same type of better. Yet, despite all the opinions, interesting thoughts, somehow every mammal has had a mother. Going back millions of years. And while it's true, not everything has worked out. Mothering has a long tradition. Of being both perfectly natural and the most difficult thing a mother does. And of course, despite all the learning and effort, there's this interesting tendency that so many mothers will either choose to repeat the motherhood experience, starting over, adding a new child, or even for those who found that one was quite inconvenient enough, very often they would not change anything. They would not give this up for the world. In a moment, it'll be time to come back into the waking world, knowing that something peaceful and relaxing has happened here, and something to remind you of a certain perspective that helps make it more enjoyable to learn new things, grow, become better. A way of growing more easily, knowing that being frustrated is just normal. frustrating way of being with millions of years of history. And it's fine to participate. And it's fine to find a different way of being. But in a moment, I'm going to count you back up, counting from 1 to 5. And when you reach 5, you'll be wide awake and alert and ready for whatever tasks the world has yet to give you. However, you find yourself doing more caring, teaching, maybe even growing and learning yourself. 1, becoming aware of the seat beneath you. 2, taking a deep breath, energy giving oxygen and feeling good as that oxygen diffuses throughout your body, transported by your circulatory system to all the cells and tissues. 3, moving your fingers and toes, being aware of where you are in physical space. 4, coming up all the way now. 5, feeling good, fantastic, ready for whatever the day has for you. You've done a really good thing for yourself by giving yourself a chance to breathe and take that breather and appreciate the efforts you are already engaged in, knowing that you are engaged in a learning process, and that learning processes, by their nature and definition, are the sorts of things where the perfect answer does not happen. It certainly doesn't happen every time. And that's exactly what it means to learn and to grow. And it's perfectly fine. And have a wonderful day. Take care.